Professor Hawking, thanks for agreeing to be on Star Talk. And let me just start off with a first question, perhaps the most pressing question to us all. What's your favorite food? For me, it's pizza.
Oysters.
Oysters? What's your favorite equation? I know you've got one.
The equation I discovered relating the entropy of a black hole to the area of its horizon. S equals A over 4.
You hold the same endowed chair that Isaac Newton did. I'm just wondering if we had some way to communicate through time with him and tell him about what life is like today. Are there any questions, any problems you might want to hand him to solve?
Is the solar system stable? And what happens to a star that cannot support itself against its own gravity?
So you're thinking if Newton saw those questions, he might give us deeper insights into black holes. I'd be curious. ستیڤن, you've been in that zero-G airplane. I've always wanted to go. I just wondered what it felt like for you.
It was wonderful to float weightless, free of my wheelchair. I could have gone on, and on, and on.
Well, one day I'll try to do that too. See what that's like. So, ستیڤن, everyone wants to know, what was around before the Big Bang?
Nothing was around before the Big Bang. According to Einstein's general theory of relativity, space and time together form a space-time continuum or manifold which is not flat, but curved by the matter and energy in it. I adopt the Euclidean approach to quantum gravity to describe the beginning of the universe. In this, ordinary real time is replaced by imaginary time, which behaves like a fourth direction of space. In the Euclidean approach, the history of the universe in imaginary time is a four-dimensional curved surface, like the surface of the Earth, but with two more dimensions. Jim Hartle and I proposed a no-boundary condition. The boundary condition of the universe is that it has no boundary.
Okay.
In order terms, the Euclidean space-time is a closed surface without edge, like the surface of the Earth. One can regard imaginary and real time as beginning at the South Pole, which is a smooth point of space-time where the normal laws of physics hold. There is nothing south of the South Pole, so there was nothing around before the Big Bang.
So, ستیڤن, will we ever have the ability to travel backwards in time? I'm thinking not, simply because if we ever did obtain that ability, we would have met somebody by now from the future.
One might hope that we could warp space-time, so that one could go off in a rocket and come back in the past. But I have shown that this is not possible, if energy density is always non-negative.
Okay. Maybe that's a big if. So, ستیڤن, you've said publicly that you want us to be a multi-planet species. And who could argue that? I'm with you there. However, I have one mild rebuttal. Because you defend that argument by saying something bad could happen here on Earth. An asteroid, a runaway virus, rendering us all extinct. And if we exist only on one planet, that's the end of the human species. I get that. But here's my mild rebuttal. Isn't it easier to deflect an asteroid? Easier to find a super serum that will combat any deadly virus than it is to terraform Mars and ship 1 billion people there?
Collision with an asteroid is one of the least of the dangers we now face. The last collision was 70 million years ago. Nuclear war, climate change, and pollution are now much greater threats. Of course, it would be impossible to move the population of the Earth to a new planet, but if we can establish independent, self-sustaining colonies in space, it would ensure the survival of the human race in the event of a disaster on Earth. Leaving Earth will also give us a new perspective and cause us to look outwards rather than inwards. It would also unite us to face a common challenge.
So, Stephen, if we ever really develop the technology to upload your brain into some computer, providing life after death, or at least consciousness after death, would you be first to sign up for that?
My body hardly works at all because I have motor neuron disease, otherwise known as ALS. So getting rid of it would be no loss and would spare me discomfort. Being immortal as solely a brain, I could see the future unless I was terminated by someone switching off the computer or by a computer virus.
So, Stephen, religion has been around for thousands of years, and it long predates science. And in spite of the effort of modern ardent atheists, religion persists. So do you have any sense of what religion will be in the future of civilization?
Religion was an early attempt to answer the questions we all ask. Why are we here? Where did we come from? Nowadays, science provides better and more consistent answers, but people will always cling to religion because it gives comfort, and they do not trust or understand science.
Who's his favorite non-scientist?
A few years ago, I would have said Nelson Mandela. He brought a peaceful solution to a seemingly impossible situation. There is no one of his stature today. Certainly not Donald Trump.
So over the course of your life, you've had a sort of unique perspective on science, on technology, endurance. If you sort of sum that together and offer some insight for us, any lessons that we can take with us?
We must all do the best we can in whatever situation we are in. Never give up.
Never give up. Clearly that advice applies to us all. It's a privilege to spend this time with you. Thanks for your thoughts and your insights and being a source of inspiration to us all.
Thank you.
How could you not just wonder what's going on inside this guy's head? I think our greatest gift as a species is not our body. We're not the fastest. We're not the strongest. Our body hardly distinguishes itself in any way in the animal kingdom. Our greatest sort of gift in the tree of life is our mind. And perhaps no one knows that better than Stephen Hawking. And so much so that he does not take his mind for granted, enabling him to go places that we might never even dream of, simply because he has power of mind where he has power from no other part of his body. So maybe it is we who are imprisoned, thinking our body matters, when in fact at the end of the day, it's really all about your thoughts, all about your dreams, all about how we react to our life experience in this world and share it with others.